Good evening, guys, and big welcome to Ruth. I had the pleasure of working with Ruth who presented some trophies because they also sponsor the VAFA. So, and at Box Hill during the finals, Ruth was only too happy to do that. So it's good to see you getting out and about, Ruth, in all the sporting activities. Obviously, last week was pretty rare in a lot of ways. We don't normally get, you know, the way it's happened, and I just quickly want to go through, and a number of umpires ringing me and wanted me to go through it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it individually. We'll go through it tonight. This will also be, I've asked Michael already, we're going to put this up on the Umpires Association website, and we'll go through it as well. So I'd like Jeff Hart to come up here with me, please. Dr. Hart. Now, Jeff is the person who oversees all the rules for and on behalf of the VSDCA. So I've run this by Jeff. We've gone through a number of scenarios and things. Come in the video with me, mate. The better looking one. So we thought we'd quickly go through the scenarios of what it is and where it is. Now I do want to state, we did get feedback. The executive Ken Hilton rang me and said there's been a couple of umpires and captains got together and decided they'll make it a 60 over game or whatever. With all due respect, guys, we can't do that. We've got to work within the rules. It might be nice and the captains might be happy with that, umpires might be happy with that, but we're not really adhering to the rules which we've got to do. So don't hesitate on a Saturday night. If there's something that you're not sure about the rules or whatever, give me a call. If I don't know the answer straight away, I'll find out. The first person I'll go to will be Jeff about the rules. That's what he's there for, and will assist us in making sure that we can officiate as best we can, but it's got to be to the rules. But by all means, you know, ring me and we'll have a discussion, and I'll certainly help you as best I can. So just quickly to go through, this is a copy of what's exactly in the handbook under Pennant Rule 16.4, which is the main one. There's other parts of Rule 16, but this is the main one. It talks about playing time exceeding 60 minutes in the aggregate, lost through stoppage for weather, bad light. And after 6:10 it talks about, and 6 p.m. for thirds, 7 p.m. for fourths, which can be a little confusing. From the scheduled commencement time during the innings of the side which bats first and prior to 6:10, first and second 11 mainly, 6 p.m. thirds. The match shall continue a day during the innings of the side batting first, if not otherwise terminated, compulsory close on the completion of 80 overs. So from the scheduled commencement time and or during the innings of the side which bats second, by or after the scheduled finish time, the match will thereupon end, providing the reduced target number of overs has been bowled. Once the innings of the side batting first compulsory close at 80 overs, the side batting second can only receive the number of overs commensurate with the remaining batting time. Play can continue past 6:40, first and seconds in particular, to allow the entitled overs to be received. So that's what's written in the handbook. Now, if we go to the next one, here's an example currently. Kew versus Caulfield seconds. They last around about 40 minutes or thereabouts. So, Pennant Rule 16, play resumes at 12:30 this Saturday, because they've lost 40 minutes, which is under the 60 minutes aggregate. Kew is entitled to face the remainder of its 80 overs, unless dismissed prior, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then there's a 10-minute change of innings. Caulfield is entitled to its full 80 overs, and as such, the determination of the winner is unchanged from a normal, uninterrupted two-day game. Opening to the same scheduled close of play 6:40, but the over's there. Any questions on that right now?
Yeah.
Yes, Crofty.
Yeah. On that one, we resume at 12:30.
Yep.
Kew is entitled to face the remainder of its 80 overs,
Yep.
unless dismissed prior. However, the hour that is entitled, do you stop at the end of the hour regardless of the number of overs? Or do you, for instance, my match is 64 at this point in time. Now we have 1 hour, they may only bowl 15, so it becomes 79. Do I stop at that 1 hour, or do I allow them to go over that 1 hour for...
It says there, Q's entitled to face the remainder of its 80 overs. So whilst there's like an hour, it's no different to a two-day game, where if they're not getting through their overs at the quite rate, we don't stop it on a two-day game normal conditions and say, you've only bowled 79, it's time. They've got to get their 80 overs, unless they're all dismissed. Okay, so if they've only bowled 15 instead of 16, you'll play that extra run. Okay?
No, I disagree with that.
No? Yeah.
I think the answer's right, but I think the logic
because only 40 minutes have been lost. So what we've got here is then a 340-minute day on day 2, possibility of 97 overs. If you take the 67 overs bowled on day 1 and the 97 on day 2, that's 164 overs. So clearly there's enough, there is time for the 2 innings of 80 overs each. There's time for that to happen. But because we've only lost 40 minutes, they're actually only entitled to bat for 1 hour on the day. So let's assume they're playing Caulfield, those roads at Caulfield, and they bowl very slowly. Now Caulfield might only bowl 12 overs. That's I mean, it won't happen, I'm sure, but Caulfield might only bowl 12 overs in that hour.
Yeah.
So this particular example, the answer is actually right, but that logic is not right if they don't bowl the overs.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get you.
I think if we go to the handbook, Neil, you're correct. The handbook actually mentions 60 minutes.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that would, in effect, make it a compulsory closure
That's right.
at 60 minutes batting on day 2, which is what James was referring to. So theoretically then, if it went to, in your example, 79, you would have a compulsory closure at 79, the team batting second, and then be entitled to a 79.
79, that's right.
What happens in the case though, and I think this is where you're alluding, if the bowling side is going slow, they're not really getting through the
Well,
overs.
yes or no, but it still evens itself out.
Yeah, I get that.
You've
But
got
that's-
the hour and your cut off,
Yeah.
and whatever overs you've got, if they're still batting.
Yeah, okay.
The situation changes if the team goes out in that period of time.
I understand the logic and the summary of it, so it's just a case of making sure that we work in the books. But I understand.
I think too many, it's worth adding that some captains may deliberately go slow in that hour, so it'd be up to us to ensure that they're going at
Which is what we normally
3.5
do.
minutes and over.
Yeah, normal time. So, yeah.
Really that hour is a continuation of the first day's. You take that back and you put that on last Saturday and you play that first day's play accordingly, and then you've got your second day's play starting.
Yeah, but the logic also says, with no rain delays, they've got to get 80 overs. So if it got to 6:10 and they bowled 79, what would you do in a normal 2-day game? You'd play the 80th over. You'd play the 80th over.
Have to bowl 80 overs, it doesn't matter, it's an 80 over game.
That's
Doesn't matter
where.
what the time is on the first day, there's no play loss.
That's what I'm saying. It's all very well to say they get an hour, and if they get to 79, we'll make them compulsory close. But in the handbook, it also says we're playing an 80 over game.
That's right, yeah.
So now you've got if you get through day 1, no rain, you get to 6:10 and it's knocked off, and they've bowled 79, you're going to bowl the 80th over. Why wouldn't it be 80th over in this scenario? Especially if they're going slow. I mean, for the sake of 1 over,
Yeah, the first rule says that the game's an 80 over match.
that's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I think that's right.
Yes. Is the interpretation.
For 1 over, I think we should, personally, I think we should go. But Jeff's the rules man, so
I think actually the rule, it's a terribly difficult rule to write, and it's probably, you're quite right, it's probably poorly written the way it is. But I think for the sake of consistency, my interpretation of it is that on day 2 we're bowling 60 minutes. So we're bowling 60 minutes, the side batting continuing, and we need to encourage the fielding side to bowl at a suitable over rate. It should get to 80, but if it gets to 79 and the 60 minutes is up, I think we'll cut it off there, and it becomes 79 overs or 78 or whatever it is. And that, in my view, is the way the rule is written in the handbook, but it's a rule that we're reviewing.
we had a long conversation about
So
it.
therefore, on that basis, we're looking at what I'd say, 79, 79.
In your example,
Yes.
If the team is dismissed within that hour,
Yes.
they get the balance of,
No, they don't get a balance.
A
80 is all they get.
If they're all out, team batting second's entitled to get a minimum of 80 overs.
Minimum of 80 or maximum of 80?
minimum.
Because they're all out.
Yeah. So they get the balance of time.
They only get the balance of time, they don't get balance of overs.
They can have 82, 83 overs.
If the bowling side bowls that, and time permitting and light and all the rest of it comes in.
But I mean, that situation, there's a rule that's not in the book, 43, it's common sense.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you've got 1 over, it's only 3 minutes. Then 2 Saturdays ago, we finished at 7:05, and we kept playing and there were still 4 overs left. So it would have finished at 7:20 on a one-day game. So the rule of, we had a game Saturday, we lost 15 minutes. I went to the captain and Altona and said, well, we've got 2 overs to go, it's only 6:10. He says, can we finish the game then? So I went to the other umpire, we had a look, went to the playing member of the Devils and bowled 2 extra overs. We finished at 6:15. Because what would happen next week, if they had bowled 2 overs and they get dismissed because they're 9 out, I'll tell you, we're going to play till 6:40, right? Because we 2 overs is only 7 minutes. So technically, the Devils could bowl 90 overs, 94 overs to them.
That's right.
Because it's that's what we're saying. So sometimes like that, it's a common sense rule. And you just let it bowl.
But taken on board, look, like I said right at the start, this is a real rarity. So Jeff and I and Ken Hilton as well, we've had long chats about it. What we're going to do is, we can't change it during the season, but we're going to go through and make it as simplistic as we can so that everyone understands it. Rather than it being interpretation, you should be able to follow it in black and white, especially given scenarios. So we'll look at probably even producing a summary of what that's all about. So yes, Neil.
My question is in this scenario here, what happens if 59 minutes of play is lost on day 2? We're already going to finish at 6:40. Does that mean we play till 7:39?
Well,
You've lost more than 60 minutes.
So it's cumulative over the 2 days?
yeah, once you've lost more than 60 minutes aggregate.
Okay, well, I don't think that's clearly stated. It talks about day 1 or day 2,
Yeah.
so that's great. So the 60 minutes aggregate. So if we lose more than 19 minutes in this game on Saturday, then we revert to what we're all calling normal conditions.
Yeah, which used to be called ordinary conditions.
Yeah,
when we-
your ordinary conditions. So it's cumulative over the 2 days. I think it's really important to...
Well, it's still the same innings. Like the
No,
team
but
batting first.
okay, so who's batting? Q.
Q.
They finish their innings off, they face their 80,
Yeah.
and then there's
Oh, then there's rain.
and then there's 25 minutes lost. So what happens then? So that's now more than an hour. Are we then in ordinary conditions?
Yes, because we don't have any provision in the rules.
Because we've lost more than an hour cumulative over the 2 days, correct?
No, different scenario.
Well, not really.
Well, this is what I'm trying to clarify.
But this is where 1624 comes in. If they can't get the same amount of overs in the second innings, it's not a game. They have to either dismiss them or get the runs to get the points.
Correct, you can still have a result.
Yeah.
Within the...
But if there's no result, it's a draw.
It's a draw.
So
Correct.
it's ordinary
And
conditions.
And that's the way it's written. And Jeff and I have discussed that one.
So it's an hour over the 2 days. It's more than an hour over the 2 days because, as just stated behind, there's not enough time to bowl all the overs. Do we agree with that?
Shall I go?
Yeah, cumulative over the 2 days.
No, there's 2 different, 2 days, each day is a different scenario.
Well, we just said it wasn't, Bill.
It's aggregate. It's just aggregate.
An hour over the
second day, haven't they, to compensate?
Well, yeah, but then you lose more than the hour total. So there's insufficient time.
You're talking about...
Now, guys, can we be a bit respectful and not have chats amongst themselves? We're trying to make sure everyone understands this. Yes.
Ben, can you go back to that 80 overs business? If a team's bowled out before they get their full 80, surely it's the first innings, you only get 80 overs. Not 81 or 82 or 83, it's just 80.
Correct.
Yeah, right, good.
Benny, what's the mindset of not having the extra time on the first day?
Sorry?
What's the mindset not having the extra time on the first day?
Oh, that's something that I've already got written. I'm going to put to the executive next year.
That's just silly. Like, that's just penalising the team batting second.
Yeah. But hang on, if we go to this next slide here, and we're making an assumption for these games there's more than 60 minutes lost, right? If you look at the over 47 overs, 50 overs, 52 overs, 52 overs, then it's obviously clear we've lost more than 60. But the next one, where we've got 71 overs, 69 overs, 69, we've obviously lost less than 60 minutes.
Yeah, well, in my game, we had the rain interruption right on at 3 o'clock where we could take tea. Yeah, so we only lost 6 minutes in that first break, but then we lost another 4 minutes with another slight little rain delay. So we've only lost 10 minutes.
Well, you're absolutely right.
But what I'm saying is that...
We're taking the hour.
Yeah.
We can take the hour, but they're 7 overs behind.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we should play an extra half hour or an hour on day 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what. But for some games, the games...
Why play 6:40 one week and not 6:40 in the first?
The game where there was 47, 50, 51 overs was basically washed out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's what we got.
So you're not going to get the extra time anyway, per se. So that's the problem. And that's why we put up these scenarios of less than 60 minutes, more than 60 minutes. So these were the clubs in these games that had these amount of overs, 71, 69, 69, 64. So next week these games start at 12:30. Saturday, side batting first not dismissed come back from a maximum of 60 minutes to receive the balance of the entitlement overs can continue until 6:40. Money overs on day one being bowled, then normal 80 overs on the second batting side. Play can continue past 6:40 to complete the entitlement overs. But if interrupted after that time, past 6:40, so if you get another rain and you go off, that's the end of the day's play.
So you don't reduce the overs on the second day because of rain?
Yes.
You've still got to try and get your allotted 8.
And the same with those. So now, just so you know, whilst that's up on there, I've printed that PowerPoint out, so everyone will get a copy. So you can get, sorry?
Can you go through this one? You haven't gone through this one yet.
Sorry. We're making the assumption with these games more than 60 minutes, obviously 47 overs, 50 overs, 52 overs, 52 overs. So next week, these games commence at 12:30 and can continue until 6:40, is really what's under the rules. Innings of the side batting first continues on day two, if not otherwise termed is compulsory closed after 80 overs. During the innings of the side batting second continues until the minimum target overs have been bowled. Play can continue past 6:40 to complete the total overs. Now the thing that I don't have in there, and I spoke to Jeff about it, if a team gets dismissed all out in the first innings and doesn't get their 80 overs, then it reverts where the team batting second is entitled to still get a minimum of 80 overs as a normal two-day game. Okay?
So Ben, just on that, I think it's important for everybody to be clear that in those situations that are on the screen at the moment, the draw is now an option in the game.
Absolutely.
And that needs to be relayed to the captains because they may not be aware of that.
Yeah.
We need to be clear on it and we need to make the captains
There's
clear.
more likely with something like that where, for example, the Brighton-Coburg game with 47 overs, you've got 33 overs to bowl.
Yeah.
On average, that's going to take about 2 hours,
We lost
approximately.
an hour and 3/4 on that.
Sorry?
We lost an hour and 3/4 on that.
Yeah, so what that means is, with 33 overs to go, they're entitled to get that up to their 80 overs, if not all dismissed, right?
Or they can declare.
Or a declaration. So once if they happen to go through the 80 overs, then that's it, it's compulsory closed. Now, it doesn't leave a lot of time under the rules the way it's written for the team, but the team batting second, they've got options. Swing the bat, block, make it a draw, whatever they can. So they sort of run the game. Now, whether that's fair or not fair, it's not for us to judge. What it is based on the rules as they're currently written. So what this has highlighted to us, obviously, is we need to have a strong review of Rule 16 to try and make it fair and reasonable for everyone according to the rules that we can muster.
I think the other possibility in that game, Neil, is the team batting first may declare its
65 overs. They can do whatever they like, yeah.
Yeah, make a go of it.
But they may ask us as umpires, what are my options? So it's important for us to be able to say what the scenarios are. Not tell them when to declare, but say, this is an option you've got, or you can bat your 80, but if the other side only gets 45 and they don't get bowled out and they don't get the runs, it's a draw.
Correct.
Both sides need to be aware of that so that they can set up a declaration game if they want to.
So in that regard, the information that we're discussing tonight that Benny's prepared, that's Ken Hilton will distribute that to the clubs, which will go to the captains before the weekend.
Yes, question up the back.
My match, they're all out, off the rain. Do we start at 12:30 or 1 o'clock day two?
No, because they were all out in the first innings, you'll start at 1 o'clock
80 overs.
and they still get them,
80 overs.
80 overs.
yeah, because they were all, hang on, they were all out.
All out.
All out, so the team batting second gets a minimum of 80 overs.
1 o'clock start.
1 o'clock start, yes.
1 o'clock start.
Yes, Ray?
What's the maximum?
Brighton, they're entitled to get the full 33 overs on the second day. Is that 60 minute story, is it?
No, because this is, they've lost more than 60 minutes in the aggregate. So then it becomes what we call the old, dare I say, the old ordinary conditions. So they're entitled to bat for their full entitlement. So that's it. But remember, that's more than 60 minutes lost, which is different to the less than 60 minutes lost. Yes?
The actual batting time is calculated 6:40. That's how we make it calculate.
Yeah. The actual batting time. Yes, Mike.
Beyond say about.
Yes.
That's in firsts and seconds though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be 6:30 in thirds
It's 7
and
o'clock.
7 in fourths.
Yeah, the fourth, yeah.
Is it up to us to let the side that's batting first, Brighton, Plenty Valley, Melton or Yarraville, know that if they declare and leave the second batting side more overs than they face, then a result is possible?
I think we've got to be transparent. If they want to declare, they should know the circumstances.
So if they, like for instance the Brighton one, if they bat till 60 overs and then leave 61 overs for Coburg to face, they can get a result.
But the draw's still possible.
Absolutely
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
But no. If the side batting second gets more overs than the side batting first, there is a result. There's no draw.
I don't think that's right.
Read 16:24.
Except as provided for otherwise, and if the match is not played to a further result, the winner on the first innings shall be the side scoring the greater number of runs,
Correct.
irrespective of wickets lost, provided always that in the event of the side batting second having scored the lesser number of runs, the side has received at least the same number of overs as the side batting first. So what happens if you make a declaration at 60 overs, and you bat second, bat for 60 overs, you don't make their score, the team who bats first wins.
Correct. That's the risk you take if you declare.
I'd say that again.
That's really
So
important too.
if you make a declaration, you're the side batting first, 60 overs, and the other team gets 60 overs,
61,
whatever,
62,
but if they
63.
don't pass their score after the 60 overs, the team batting first wins. It's not a draw.
If the side batting second
That's what
gets
that rule
more overs than the
Well,
side batting first, irrespective of the wickets lost, then the result is possible.
Yeah.
So long as the side batting second gets more overs.
Same
That's correct. Same number or more.
Yes.
But if they don't reach the score, the team batting first wins.
Yes.
On that basis.
Yeah, correct? That's the way I read it. That's where the captain who bats first needs to know that. And the captain who bats second needs to know that if they shut up shop, bail up, mate. You're going to try and get it.
All right, we need to move on. So,
Benny, do you think we're clear? Because we're still
yeah, look, we could probably discuss for another 2 hours, to be honest. You know, and I understand.
going to be the...
Yeah, that's why you need to take this document away, have a read of it, and because every game has got a different scenario. The problem you've got now is you're trying to weigh up, what about this game, what about that game? We could spend another hour or two on it. So you need to weigh up and look at it. What's the situation of my game? And then make sure you talk to your partner and make sure you're on the same page. I think that's a better way to go than what we're trying to do at the moment, because you're raising issues that might not affect your game. So we need to be clear about what your game is, so then you can make sure when you talk to the captains. First question I'll be asking the captains: did you receive the information from Ken Hilton, Secretary of VSDCA? Because that will help them understand what they're doing. So the onus should be on you to tell them on Saturday. So that's why we're trying to get into this early. And once Jeff and I will have another chat tomorrow and make sure we're all on the same page, what we're going to send out, go to the clubs, and then you only worry about your game for this incident. Fair enough?